Hi everyone, this is a quick intro to Google Sites, which is the platform we're going to be using for our wikis in this course. And I've looked at a few different wiki services and I've decided to go with Google Sites because it's very powerful and very simple and will serve our purpose as well. So what I wanted to do in this short video is to give you a quick introduction to how it all works and to show you where you can start creating your material. Because one of the things we're doing in this course is looking at the way in which writing is changing and how the conventional essay or assignment really is an old sort of 20th century model of doing things. In this century, writing is usually done in teams, it's done collaboratively, and it's done in an incremental stage. You're never going to work in a situation where someone says, go away and write me 2,500 words. I don't want you to see it until it's finished, and then I'm going to judge it on its finished product. And on a practical level, this also provides a platform for me to give you more detailed feedback as you go, which is always more effective than the conventional assignment thing as well. Okay, so Google Sites, what is it? It's a platform for creating and sharing websites. It's based on the incredibly powerful Google apps for business, and we're using an educational version of it. And the advantages of it is that it has really good security on each page, so you can decide. Our pages at the moment are by default viewable only by us in our group and not by others, and you can set, if you want to make a page public, you want to make it just visible to yourself, you can set all those things using the sharing option up here. Now the other thing you'll also have gotten from me is an email with a new Google account with an address with your name at cqulaw.net. Excuse that sound, that's just my dog. And that will give you access to, it's basically a new Gmail account. So you don't have to worry about using it as you can use it as an email account if you want to, but you can also, like any Gmail account, you can just forward it to other emails as well. But it also becomes your login to this site and to any of the other suite of Google apps that if you want to have access to. And one thing, just as a side point, is if you actually want to set up a site in our domain and cqulaw.net, have a talk to me. And if you want to set up your own sort of e-portfolio or anything like that, we can do that now. So it has free hosting and you don't have to worry about pop-ups and ads and all the rest of it. Anyway, this is the main page. It's very bare bones. I made the mistake when I started of using one of their templates for a project-based wiki, and oh my god, there was some complex stuff in there, and it just drove me crazy trying to figure it out. So I've stripped it right back to bare bones, and there's not much there at the moment, but I thought that was important so we could, all be on the same page. So there's a main page here, which I'll obviously write some more details there. The important page is projects. You see that from the sidebar. And I've created an individual project page for everyone, and that means that you can create your content, your pages and sub-pages under that domain. You can do whatever you like there, and I can view it. Your colleagues can view it. Unless you can actually set it to only be visible to yourself. If you want to hide your work until you think it's presentable, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. The idea is that with these modern writing projects is that it evolves in stages. It's not like a conventional essay. Anyway, I'll show you the one I've done, and I'm going to work on one just to demonstrate the sort of things that you'll do. So right down the bottom here is mine, which is on internet censorship. Obviously you can change the name of your project here, and the page that it's connected to, you can change the name there, which will help you out. So Jessica's already given her presentation on digital authentication, so hers is already set up with the correct title. So let's go to internet censorship. I've put a main core page here, which is where I'm describing the pages I'm going to set up. Now obviously we're not all going to be able to create an entire Wikipedia sort of themed piece on our topic. And what we're going to focus on is just some key nodes, some key topics that we're going to develop. And we'll talk in class a little bit more about the style that we're writing for this, because it's not quite Wikipedia style, because it's critical and has commentary and all the rest of it. However, that's a topic for another day. So as you can see here, I've put in a rough description here. Now underneath there's a comment section where you can actually comment on other people's work. So I've put a comment there as just as a developmental piece. These things can be deleted, and the idea of working with these comments is that as a project evolves, and as you can put reminders in there, you can put notes to colleagues, you can start discussions, but they'll be removed as we go. As things get resolved, they'll get removed, so they won't be visible to the public. And again, the idea of this is that when you finish your part of this knowledge base, it then becomes something that you hand on to the next generation of eLaw students who can then work on it and develop it. So you see here I've got a few separate pages I've sort of proposed. Some are linked, some aren't. Here's one on the Office of Film and Literature Classification. Obviously you're going to need more content here than this, but I'm just doing this to show you how the process works. So here we go. There's an easy page there. Now it's when you want that's the main view of the page. Ignore what it just did just then, because that was because I forgot to save it, which was silly of me. But interestingly enough, when you forget to save something, it doesn't just delete it, unlike many other systems. So if you want to get in and edit a page, you can click on Edit Page at the top here. As I said, save when you're done, or if you don't save when you're done, apparently it will remember that for you, which is awfully nice. And you have all your normal sort of Google Docs style functioning in here in terms of comments and formatting structures and things, but the thing that's most relevant to us in creating a wiki is creating more pages. Now, important thing here is don't worry you can't break it. Anything you do can be undone. You can work back to original version, so please experiment with it. That's the whole point of this. It's to give you an opportunity to play around and experiment in this new format, and then to reflect on that and what that means. So for instance, I want to do a page on Crow and Graham, the decision there. I've mentioned in the text, so I want to create a link to that page. Now that page doesn't exist yet, so if I want to create a link to a page, whether it exists or not, I go to Link, and it brings up this little diagram here, and it has a map of everything that's in the site, and if it's an existing page, I can click on it and just link it. I know I haven't created one, so I'm going to create a new page here, and I'm going to situate it under Projects, and I'm going to put it under Internet Censorship, and I'm going to call the page Crow and Graham. Now, if you get this wrong, I'll show you in a moment, because I have got one wrong. If you get this wrong, it's easy to fix. So I said Create Page. I say OK. And there you go. There's a link to a new page that's been created. Let's save what I've done. A new page on Crow and Graham. And there we go. No content on it yet, but again, I can get in and edit it straight away. Okay, so, and I can put comments on it, I can put ask questions, I can do all sorts of things. If we go to sharing, it tells you who has access. So it only has people in the CQU law program. I'm down as an owner for it. And we should be able to change the permissions to say that anyone can view it, use custom permissions, and so on. So we're not going to go into that just now, but what I'm trying to get across there is that this stuff is all just locked in within our network at the moment, so don't worry about these things if you're worried about things going public. But it means when you do want things to become public, it's quite simple to set that. Alright, let's go back to eLaw. The other thing I wanted to show you was how easy it is to fix things, and this is what really sold me on this service, was when you go to a sitemap, it actually shows you how the pages are located in relation to each other. So there's a main page, there's a projects page, and then there's projects pages for each project, and under each of them, under mine for instance, there's Internet Censorship, Australian Censorship Law, and Crow and Graham. Now you'll see here there's a stray page here that I've created deliberately by mistake, where I've put this page in the wrong place. It's just sitting under the main page. If I go to manage pages, we actually get a neat little interface here where I can just grab and drop that. It says it's moving, and there you go. My page is now in the correct place, in the correct project. So go for it with creating new pages, with adding new content, because you'll find that even if you make a mistake and save it in the wrong spot, it's very easy to fix, and you should all have permission to move things around. If there's any problems, let me know, and I'll get in and try and fix it. But that little function of itself, the ability to move things around, was what totally sold me on Google Sites. We'll add some more gadgets as we go. I didn't want to overcomplicate things, but as you see here, there's a sidebar here that says what the most recent site activity is. That's going to be useful for me to keep up to date with as you guys start updating things and uploading things. It's going to be useful. You can, of course, always link to external sites as well. So if I wanted to link in here to CQ University, I could just put a URL in there. So there may be particularly other databases, or even Wikipedia. There may be links you want to put in to your paper, or to your pages that you've created. You can insert pictures. I'm sure somewhere here you can insert images. There was a way of putting footnotes on that I've just managed to lose. I mean, being typical Google, they add features and subtract them all the time. And I Googled Google and said, can you add footnotes to these pages? And they said, yes, of course you can. And now I've lost it says it's supposed to be under here an insert footnote thing, but it doesn't seem to be working. Anyway, we'll worry about that one later. But there's anything, like you can put documents and drawings and things that are on Google Drive in here. You can create groups, you can put stuff on Google+, and then there's heaps of other gadgets and things that you can add in there. So and no, you're not going to be allowed to add a PayPal storefront to it. But I'm curious to see what things you're interested in adding. And as I said right on the start of this project, this is about developing next generation technologies. I'm not interested in seeing in reading assignments that are just going to be read once and thrown away. I don't think you're interested in writing assignments that are just going to be read once and thrown away. What we're doing here is developing a knowledge base, and that's something that's done with the wisdom of crowds. It's done with group collaboration, and what we're doing in part of this subject is just making a start. We're just creating a few pages, we're creating some links, we're uploading some resources, and then we're going to hand it over to the next generation. So I'm aware that the video has now gone on probably way too long. That is, if it's been recording properly. It's 13 minutes, so it has been recording apparently. So I will upload this to YouTube. I will send you out your links to your accounts, and we can talk about it in the next class. So get in and experiment. You can't break it, and if you do break it, you can always restore it to the previous position. So use this as an opportunity to learn something new. Okay, talk to you soon.